We had a long operation yesterday, which lasted more than 12 hours and completed at 2 o'clock this morning. Yesterday morning, on the 12th of August, we were contacted by the Libyan authorities and informed of a potential boat in distress. They had information about a small white boat with an engine with 9 or 10 people on board. They gave us the coordinates of the last known position of this boat. It took us about 3 hours to get to that position, and it was improbable really that we would find the boat given the vast search area, and the boat was travelling at about 8 knots, which meant they had 3 hours to go, to travel quite far in any direction. So when we got to the last known position, we quickly launched a rescue boat. I went as the medic on the rescue boat, and we spent the next 6 hours covering an extensive area and approaching fishing vessels to know if they had seen them, if they had any more information that they could give us. Indeed, several of the fishing vessels had seen this boat at some point during the morning. They were able to tell us they passed 2 hours ago or they passed 3 hours ago. After about 5.5 hours that I spent on the rescue boat searching extensively for this white boat potentially in distress, one of our crew members here on board the Aquarius actually had a visual on the boat. They were on bridge watch using the binoculars, and they spotted the boat. So we proceeded at a very high speed to that area. It was very unusual to come on the scene. I could see that they were all completely exhausted and were suffering from sun exposure, were sunburnt. There were 11 in total, 9 men and 2 minors. I could see they were tired. It's a very strange sight to see the boat like this. After the medical assessment and after assessing the situation on the boat, after doing the stabilization and giving everybody life jackets, we provided them with ample food and water. We launched the second rescue boat. So the second rescue boat brought the provisions of food and water. At this point, we already had entered Maltese waters. The Libyan, and prior to that, we were under the coordination of the Libyan authorities and updating the Libyan authorities all the time. At this point, the Maltese authorities informed us that it was no longer a Libyan operation and that we were under their coordination. So we kept them updated throughout. We told them that we would monitor the situation, that one of our rescue boats would follow closely behind, and then the Aquarius behind again, and that if there was any risk to loss of life, if the situation deteriorated at any point, that we would intervene to save lives at sea. We kept the Maltese authorities updated over the following hours. And so eventually, at a late hour in the night, this white boat ran out of fuel. Now, they didn't want to be rescued by the Aquarius. They wanted to make their own way there. We wouldn't interfere with that. But again, considering all of the risks at sea, we monitored closely the situation. The boat eventually ran out of fuel exactly at the point between the Maltese and the Italian waters. The likelihood of that happening is very, very slim, but that's exactly what happened. And so we were in contact with both the Libyan authorities and the Italian authorities. They did treat it very differently. Throughout the communication, the Maltese authorities referred to this as a law enforcement incident, whereas the Italian authorities were referring to it as a search and rescue operation. When a boat has run out of fuel, this is a boat in distress, and it was recognized as such by the Italian authorities. And there was a positive outcome. The Italian Maritime Coordination Centre sent a patrol boat, Charlie Papa, to the scene. Our rescue boat was there, and the Italian patrol boat arrived as well, and they rescued all of the people. They took them on board in the dark of night. We were, it's dangerous. All of the risks increase at nighttime, and this operation took place in the dark of night under the shower of the Perseids, meteor shower, and it eventually was completed at 1:30 in the morning. They had all people safely on board, and they took them to Lampedusa. What happens to these people after that? We don't know. Also, it's not our job. Our job is to be here saving lives at sea. And so we had the rescue boats back on the Aquarius, and everybody was finally able to go back to sleep at 2 o'clock this morning if they weren't on deck watch. It's very tiring to be at the sea on a first rescue boat for so many hours, you know, going at quite a high speed physically. It's very tiring for the arms, for the legs. Also, it's quite dehydrating. We don't have any toilets, and so yeah, I had to take all precautions necessary so that I wouldn't have to go to the toilet, so I'm actually very dehydrated today. But, you know, it's good to know that all the people are safely on board.